Welcome into the Packers defensive breakdown of their Week 14 matchup against the Detroit Lions. A 31-34 loss, a tough loss, of course, against the Lions. They didn't really help themselves. They put themselves into short, manageable situations on third and fourth down, so it allowed the Lions to convert quite often. And obviously, that makes things tougher to defend. So let's dive into the film and look at both the positives and the negatives of this game. All right, looking at the first play, this is just a counter by the Lions. You've got two pullers there kicking out. And at the surface, it looks kind of like poor tackling, but it's really more of a poor gap control. And we'll see it a lot better from this angle. So you're going to have the motion, and then you're going to have two pullers. So you've got a down block here. Responsibility is just get 94 out of the play. Then you're going to have one puller to kick out and then another to lead. So this is going to occupy both McDuffie and Quay Walker. They're both going to fight inside here. All right. So McDuffie fights inside. Walker fights inside, makes contact here with the running back, but isn't able to get his arms wrapped around him. You can see hands on his thighs. And then you've also got Carrington Valentine, who instead of staying outside contain here, is fighting too far inside. And Montgomery, with good vision, is going to jump outside. And it leaves McKinney one-on-one to make that tackle. So a lot of this on the surface might just look like poor tackling, like what's going on. But really, it's just the gap integrity. Everyone is taking an inside angle. If everyone's taking that inside angle, that's going to allow an easy jump out to the outside. All right, next play, we're going to have man here across the board. And this is the matchup that we're watching. I don't know why they thought this was a good idea. Being an off coverage, the speed difference between Bullard and Jameson Williams is quite high. But they decide that they want to match up here in man. And you can see doesn't really take too much. Just a simple crossing route, and then he's going to run away from him. And that is a massive gain for the Lions. All right, so taking it back to the beginning. Usually, you try to threaten the DB with vertical. And he kind of breaks this off early. All right, so there's still 3 yards between them. But because of that speed difference, it's not going to make a difference. All right, you can see Bullard full sprinting, and there's still separation being created. And Williams able to get it down to the 10 for the Lions. Next play, the Lions run this play multiple times. We'll see it here, and we'll also see it as one of the last plays of the game. But you've essentially got a lead. We're going to have a lead blocker here, and then you're going to motion this guy across, and he's going to be another lead blocker. So the two guys on the edge, that's your target, and we're going to see how well this works and just the power of these blocks. You've got a double team here taking on the edge, so it allows the receiver to block the next level. He gets a good seal here on Williams. You've got 2-on-2 here with nothing happening there from Keyshawn Nixon. So just walks into the end zone, and you can just see the power from the Detroit Lions offensive line, moving the line of scrimmage, and it's a walk-in touchdown. All right, Packers are going to bring pressure on this play. Got the snap. Quay Walker comes in, wraps around, and that's going to free up Rashawn Gary for this sack. And again, you know, I've talked about this a lot. I really like Quay Walker as a blitzer. He's going to just fire down here, and he's going to occupy the blocks, which is going to allow Gary to wrap around for this free sack. All right, so we'll play it again. That way you can see it. Gary sets up. He's already going to work inside. This guard is occupied, but Quay Walker is rocketing down, trying to occupy the tackle. And you can see he does a good job there of occupying both. Too late for that guard to make a switch. And Gary gets a sack. So Gary gets the credit for that sack, but realistically, it was more Quay Walker for his ability to occupy both of those blockers. And we'll see it from this angle here. It's creeping down, fires through, able to free Gary up. That's a nice sack on third down to force a punt. And as much as we talk about Quay Walker, There are some things that he needs to clean up, and this play is going to be one of them. Doesn't do anything too horrible on this play, but here after the snap, or after the end of the play, we've got Skipper flopping a little bit. But this is probably just the coaching of the Lions. They know that Quay Walker has a history of being aggressive after the whistle. You can see that little bit of a shove. Quay Walker can't help himself but retaliate. Didn't realize he was this strong to throw someone that big down to the ground. But, ends up being a 15-yard penalty and makes it an easy gain for the Lions. So just getting in the head of the Packers defense and moving the ball freely. Next play, this is just a reoccurring trend. We saw it very recently in the Dolphins film. But guess what? The middle of the field, wide open. All right, the play action is going to draw in these linebackers, and it's going to delay their drop just by enough to give them enough space. Walker recognizes it, but just a little bit too late. In the middle of the field, just wide open for easy first downs. And Packers defense has consistently struggled with this throughout the season. And guess what? We've got another play action here, and we're going to focus on Quay Walker. So you've got all the movement of the offensive line going to the left. The offensive left. You can see the pull of the guard. You've got this offensive line, everything moving to the left with the running back as well. But it's just a simple rollout here to the right. So you can see the influence of a linebacker here and here. Also, Evan Williams, who's down in the box. And this is just going to create a free runner. So Williams focused on St. Brown here. He's got to make sure someone covers him. But that's going to leave a free runner with Laporta just wide open. All right, so just moving the chains easily by attacking the middle of the field against this Packers defense. All right, next situation here. We've got a 4th and 2 for the Lions. They just had 3 straight runs that all failed. So after 3 failed runs, what do you expect? It's going to be a pass. But we've got a blitz that's called. You've got Walker coming in, blitzing, and you're not able to get there in time. And that leaves McDuffie one-on-one in coverage against Jahmyr Gibbs. And all he has to do is run a little Texas route, a little angle, and you can just see the separation there. And the easy throw for Goff, able to score. So what could have been a 4th down stop ends up being a touchdown for the Lions. All right, next play. This is one of the positives. We're going to focus on Nixon. This is going to be a cover 2. So his responsibility is technically out here in the flat. You're going to have McKinney drop back, Williams drop back, and these are going to be your deep halves. And then you're going to have your hook zones underneath and another flat defender over here. So simple cover 2, but Nixon is going to do a very good job here. Goff recognizes the coverage because the safety rotates back. Oh, it's going to be cover 2. So this should be open because I've got this swing route, right? So if this swing route's going out there, this flat defender has to carry with him. And that's not what happens. Nixon is playing the eyes of the quarterback. They know they love to get to the middle of the field with these spot routes in between the numbers. And Nixon recognizes that, jumps in front, and gets a very nice return to set the Packers offense up with a very short field. All right, next play here. Could have been a stop in the backfield by Carl Brooks here, making contact with Goff as he's handing it off. But it ends up being an explosive run for the Lions. And this is an interesting play. It's basically a triple trap. So you're going to have 3 pullers. All right, you're going to have the tight end here. He's going to pull. You're going to have the guard. He's going to pull down, and he's going to pull down. They're trying to trap the defensive line to get upfield. So then it allows these 3 blockers to get up to the next level. All right, so you're going to have a triple trap known as a crunch. And you can see the 3 blockers here at the next level. And that's going to allow this explosive run. So if you're able to successfully do this, all right, Brooks almost has enough speed here to disrupt the play. making that wham block a little bit difficult. But Gibbs, with the blocks downfield and his speed, able to get it down within the 10. Next play is going to be pretty simple. You've got a stick concept on one side here. You're basically going to have one hitch route here and one to the flat. So it's a spacing concept. You're just going to read what happens here. And again, it's a simple read, a very quick read for the Lions. And I know the Packers got called for a similar play like this. But you know, we don't call things fairly around here. And 17 is just going to get open because now, because of that rub, he's got to try to take the flat, and it causes a miscommunication here between the two. All right, so it's just a timing route. 17 does a good job there of just running his route, shielding 45 from getting to the flat, and it's an easy touchdown because it causes chaos between 45 and 25 on communicating who should cover what. All right, here we've got Dan Campbell getting aggressive on a 4th and 1. Surprise, surprise. This is just good pursuit by Bullard and Walker. Able to stop them just short of a first down. So putting the Packers on the 30-yard line and giving them nice scoring position. But Bullard does a good job here of over pursuing and forcing a cutback. So he forces Gibbs to cut back, which makes the tackle a little bit easier for Walker. And you've got help there to prevent him from getting a first down. So well done there by the defense. Puts the Packers offense in a scoring position. And, you know, that stop ends up helping them score a touchdown to go up 28-24. So you go down, you score a touchdown, you go up, and then the first play after that is a big 18-yard play. Again, attacking the middle of the field. I honestly don't know what the solution is to this, right? Because teams have just been exploiting the middle of the field over and over and over and over again. You got one high safety, and you're just going to cut underneath because you have a post route. You've got some sort of vertical route that occupies the safety. And if you got outside leverage on an in-breaking route, that's going to be open all day. All right, so outside of the linebackers having more recognition, and you can see what's going to happen here. Quay Walker jumping up, almost able to deflect it, but he has no depth. So he's not going to be able to make a play. He and Bullard collide. Bullard gets hurt on that play. All right, here you're going to get a good play from the Lions. You've got the fake pitch here, and you've got pullers. So you're sending the motion as if this is going to be a lead blocker out here. You've got the pitch design, but really you're going to have a counter, right? So you're going to do that pitch action. You've got two pullers to kick out here and then lead. And then that's just going to create an explosive run here. So Williams gets a nice seal. So then the puller is able to lead on the corner, and Stokes not able to make a play. Anderson makes a tackle, but it is a first down for the Lions. So just good play design using misdirection. There's not much that you can do. Again, you can see Nixon, Walker, McDuffie all taking steps to the left first. Same thing with McKinney. Taking that step to the left allows the receiver to come down, crack him, and seal him inside. Then you've got Penei Sewell pulling on Eric Stokes. He's not going to be able to make a play on that. Our next play, we've got goal line defense. You've got a lot of man situations that take place here. So you've got a lot of pressure up in the middle, thinking that they're going to run it. And Stokes here is just going to lose one-on-one in man. So Tim Patrick, you can see he's reaching, right? We know in basketball you reach, he teaches something along those lines. And Stokes, with this vertical stem, gets fooled. And Patrick is just going to break inside. And that is an easy touchdown. So that vertical stem by Patrick is essentially, he's breaking inside. He's going to stay vertical here because then that gives him two options. He can either break inside or outside. The DB has to guess, right? And by that selling that vertical stem, he's staying too close to his hip. Gets pulled up, and then Patrick already breaking into the end zone for an easy touchdown. So Stokes not doing so great in man coverage this year. All right, next play, focusing on Amon-Ra St. Brown. This is going to be man coverage here. And a little bit of contact at the top of the route. And you can see it creates about 3 yards of separation between the receiver and the DB. But again, I'm okay with this not being called offensive pass interference because Nixon here is playing a catch technique, right? Catch technique that's basically you're trying to catch them at the top of the break to slow their acceleration down, to slow any separation. So I'm okay with Amon-Ra getting separation here with his hands. Obviously, it's situational because if you're going to call the Packers for offensive pass interference in the same game and you're not going to call it here, in multiple scenarios, we've seen 2 scenarios where there could have been offensive pass interference on the Lions. Neither one was called. And this is a big play to get them very, very close to a first down. All right. Ruled just short. But again, I don't know how a defensive back playing that technique is going to get pushed three yards away in terms of the separation without any sort of extension of the arms from the receiver. All right, this is the same exact play from the third play that I showed you, the walk-in and touchdown. This is 4th and 1. Obviously, Goff falls over here. He gets stepped on. He trips, able to get the handoff, but there's just no way for the Packers to beat this. You can see they're overloaded on this side, that this motion is giving them numbers. You now have 1, 2, 3, 4 blockers on 3 defenders. So if they lose this, then it's really embarrassing. But you've got those 4. Sewell helps on the interior, gets to the second level, creates a seam, and that's just an easy first down to seal the game. That leads to a game-winning kick. So this game really just boils down to the execution and the coaching decisions. I think Ben Johnson is a really, really good offensive coordinator, and you can see how well prepared the Lions offense is. They are much more prepared in these short yardage situations. They are much more physical than the Packers defense. The Lions attack the weaknesses of the Packers, attacking the middle of the field consistently. And there's just not much you can do if your weakness is constantly being exploited. So, well played by the Lions. There's a reason that they're going to be the 1 seed this year, and they're going to be a contender for the Super Bowl. So, that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope to see you in the next video.